the challenge getting there at this time. So I am recording this session, and so we can have this for your records to be able to go back on and all that. So it's good to see you all. Melissa, thank you for putting your camera on so I can see a smiling face. Appreciate that. Everybody's been good. You can give me a thumbs up, or you can go to the emojis and give me a thumbs up. I'll make sure everybody's been good. Brandy's coming back. She said some of it. So good to see you again, my friend. Thank you so much. Good to see that Judy's coming on and Alexa. So we're gonna dive right on in if y'all don't mind. Is that all right? You know, we're gonna dive right on. Angie's coming on in, so we're gonna get the party started. And so let me jump in here. Yesterday we had Heshi, excuse me, I did it again. Herky. I keep calling this woman Heshi. she gonna beat me up, and she's one of my consultants too. And I'm gonna share a little bit with you from her presentation. She wasn't able to make it with us today, but you know, but we're going to share that. But now what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to mute all. And if you have anything you want to share, again, you know, feel free to. If you were on yesterday, this is a repeat. So these coaching sessions the 4 sessions are the same coaching session. So if you were on yesterday, you're going to hear a repeat of what the other folks heard yesterday. So just to let you know. All right. So anyway, let me go back in here and share my screen. I just want to kind of start off by just sharing a few things. The one is, you remember at the first session we had, I showed you my grandmother, Adele. And that was a month or so ago. So I just want to repeat what I said there. And that is, no matter what's going on, no matter what challenges we're facing, no matter what may be happening in any given specific day, it's going to be all right, baby. And as simple as that statement may seem, it is deeply profound, because in any given day in workforce development, we can run into circumstances, you know, and Melissa, you said good. So Melissa, we're going to she said she missed the first training. So Melissa, we're going to be doing an overview probably in the next week or so with folks who did not attend the session. So look forward to that information coming out, but you'll get it. So, but this information, even though you weren't there, it'll resonate with you. It will resonate. But anyway, you're now being introduced to my grandmother. Unfortunately, she's not been with us for 20-something years, but I still can see her smiling Bahamian face telling me it's going to be all right, baby. No matter what problem, I would bring her way. All right, so keep that in mind. I gave you all stickers, and if you haven't gotten the sticker, I'm going to get one to you when I come up for the training next month, okay? Another thing I want to share with you too is that, and keep this in mind, I think it's because of my you know what, Judy, you have your hand up. So you have a question?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You had mentioned next week, and I just wanted to verify. Are you coming in next Monday, the 19th, and doing the in-person session?
No, that's September.
September
19th.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No, September. So the way to go is going to go from training to coaching, training to coaching. So this month is coaching. Next month will be training. Yep. So thank you for that. No, September the 19th. Yep. So, yep. And I'll be there along with Herky Faraz, one of my trainers. Okay. And so you are a dream team. All right. You're a dream team. And just like, how many of you watched the Olympics? Come on, you know, you did. You can put your hands up and let us know. Some of you probably tried to attempt a few backflips. I don't know. I hope you didn't. But the Olympics had us all motivated and inspired. But one thing about my work is you'll find that I have a tendency to defer to sports in a lot of my analogies, because I think that it has play in the work we do on a consistent basis. You know, I'm going to start by saying this. There was a track runner. His name was, you may have heard of the name, Usain Bolt. I don't know if you talk about a name for somebody that's fast. Isn't that a name to have a last name Bolt and run fast? That's like so connected, right? But he said something that was so profound. All right. And it's so profound, I want you to write it down, just as a note. And then I'll make the connection from what we're trying to accomplish here today. And I'll have you off right at 1:45 on the nose, I promise. He said this: it took me 10 years to run 9.7 seconds. Write that down. it took 10 years for me to run 9.7 seconds. I'm going to ask you, what does that mean? What is he saying to us? Anybody want
Training,
this? Is
practice, doing it over and over and
and
over.
over and over and over. Brandy, I'm gonna stop share for a moment. I'm gonna give you one of these because I can't do it with this on here. You get the infamous heart emoji.
Thank you.
Because there you go. He said, I have been training for 10 years. You didn't see me train. You were not there with me. You weren't on the track. You were not in the weight room. All you see me is me running this 9.7 seconds. And I'm celebrated. The reason why I'm saying that is, and here's the connection to what we're doing, is people in sports become good at what they do because they practice it. They do it over and over and over again till they master it. So that's why you're going to hear me say in a few moments when I talk about the slow drip with us, because what I'm trying to say is do the little things well over and over and over again till you master them. And that's important when you think about this work, the nature of the work that we are in. You know what I mean? And that we need to understand the motivational interviewing, the motivational coaching, leading people. If you're a leader, it doesn't matter. The little bit over and over again is what produces the major result. Go right ahead, Brandy. Jump on in.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is don't train like the Australian breakdance team.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just clarify.
Yeah, don't do that. Nope, not at all. No, don't train like them. All right. And so what we want to do is say, whatever my position is, I want to do the little things right that's going to produce the big results. And I'm going to work on them. So that's why you notice even with our training, we're very consistent in what we're delivering, and we want you to be able to work on those things. Okay. And so so you're a dream, then also you're a dream team. So each person, be it, South Central Pennsylvania Works or, Equus, we're on this team, and everything we do in our position helps the team win. You know what I mean? So like in sports, if I'm playing football, the lineman, the running back, the quarterback, when they all do everything well together, the team wins. And it happens over and over again. That's why the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl this year again, because we're going to do it well over. No, we'll leave that when I digress. I always get in trouble when I talk about my birds. Let me leave them out of this conversation. So anyway, so you are a dream team. And so just to let you know, for those of you, who are new and those of you who've been a part of this, I want you to go back and talk about, what we're doing so we can have a clear understanding. So we're going to be doing, the way we're going to be doing this is training and coaching. Training and coaching. So in each of the training sessions, we're going to have a topic that over the next 30 days, we're going to want you to play around with, to practice, okay, for you. And then we have project leads, there's several of them that we've been working with that may give you additional information that could be helpful in it. Just like a team looking to win, we're looking to win when it comes to clients and career coaching and case management and team building within our organization that helps us do all those other things well. Okay. And so we're going to have these quick hit coaching sessions once every other month. All right. Because it'd be training, coaching. And then every other month, we're going to have training, which will be live physically at the location for half a day now, not a full day. Last time it was a full day. All right. This time it's going to be half a day, because the first one was about the motivational interviewing and coaching, and we want to get as much of that in as possible. Okay. And so each coaching session, again, will be 45 minutes long. All right. And you're gonna every session from the training, you're gonna get that sheet like I gave you, the red sheet with the oars on it and the spirit of Cape and the team building, that you're gonna work on the one thing. You're gonna get something like that, because we're gonna streamline all of this so you can just make it easy for you. And the more we can get folks to take it seriously, and the more we can get people to jump on it and do it, the more continuity you'll see and the more success you'll see overall. because I've been, like I said, we've been doing this work 20 something years. We know this industry. We know it well. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Welcome on in here. All right. And so, and then we're also going to add new information that you'll see today. All right. So Herky, my teammate Herky spoke yesterday. She was going to be here. She couldn't. We got, our team is, we got stuff going on. It's it's beautiful. I mean, we're making impact, but sometimes it's kind of hard to coordinate getting everybody two different things. So what I'm going to do, if I can stop the share for a moment, I'm going to share with you what she shared with the folks yesterday. All right, one of the groups, because what she was talking about is just ways to engage the client as a career coach. And she has quite a bit of experience. She was a program manager over in Chester County running programs similar to what you were doing here. And so now she's doing project work with us. So let me see if I can pull her up real quick. And yeah, we got going there. See if we can do this here. Do this here. So we got love technology, right? And just let me know if y'all can see that okay. Can you see it? All right. And I feel bad because she's one of my consultants, and I messed my consultant's name up. And I was calling her my mentor's name. And her name is Herky, but we got it together. We're good now. So this is what does it take to help clients gain meaningful employment. And let me know if you can hear this okay when it comes up. Could you hear? Could you hear? Okay. You can't? Hold on a second. Time out. Melissa, you said, Brandy, you said you cannot?
No, I didn't hear anything. I can hear you talking, but that was it.
Okay, let me do this because I think I know what it is. Just 1 second. I think it's because I have my earbuds on. Turn those off, and now it's going to go to the speaker.
Self-regulation skills
hear it
and
now?
what helps
Cool.
clients gain meaningful employment. So it begins with the first step is for the coach, the case manager, or whoever is guiding the clients to, first of all, establish a level of rapport and trust so that they find a place of non-judgment, they find some safety as the very first step to bring in what is it that they are facing, what are their strengths and weaknesses, what are their goals. And then once that is established, it's always good to practice active listening skills, meet them at the level where they are before we go and give them a lot of to-do, just understanding where they're coming from, and then check in their body language, nonverbal cues, asking some introspective questions like what's important to them, what has been their general, life history, what's meaningful to them, what is it that they wish to achieve or, get from the employment that they're seeking. And once we get that, very important to get the buy-in and commitment, because oftentimes, mid-program or midway, you will see that dwindle as life circumstances, especially, with poverty and its related stresses, tax, and often help people lose motivation to continue. So there's this just establishing that at the very beginning, that even if things look confusing, hard, or messy, we're there for them, and just finding what's their best method of communication and asserting the importance of regular check-ins, and that they can show up just the way they are. They don't have to have it all figured out. It's perfectly okay. Whether it's just not feeling confident in the job application or the interview, or just not knowing how to fill up that form, and that's all right. And then just understanding their barriers. Some of them you may need to refer out or supportive services, but some of them they will vocalize, and some of them it's good for the coach to dig in deeper for any obstacles that would come in their way. Could ask upfront or ask some questions wherein you're able to understand what is it that would potentially come up, and so that we can come up with a plan of action already. Also finding out what is there in their current circumstances, who is their level of support. It could be a partner, a parent, or just a coach, or whoever it is that they find. And this support could be mental, emotional, financial, and just telling them to lean into that support while they're navigating this transition or just applying for jobs, because it can be an overwhelming experience. Also knowing that they already struggle with some other things, this could be an added. So we want to make it a success for them. So that was for the
next slide.
Yeah. And then for the self-regulation skills, They're also called executive functioning or soft skills, basically the ability to finish tasks, to plan, to stay organized, and to control emotions, which are important for success in the labor market. And we've already spoken about the related stressors to poverty, how they can hamper their use. And these could range from like just the motivation of, when we spoke about, to start whether they're already employed or looking for employment, knowing their why, as their motivation to start and finish the task, the ability to persevere even if things get hard, why it's important to finish that, and the belief, because often the confidence has taken a beating owing to life circumstances, and their ability to, whether it's belief in their ability or just belief in their, overall how they view themselves. I think the coach can go a long way in just shifting around some of those core beliefs, how they're operating from, and just adding to their level of confidence by constant like encouragement, motivation, pointing out their strengths and their skills. And they may not have had a lot of role models or people who are encouraging them. So often as coaches, we can play that big part. And the other part is the emotional piece. So of course, emotional regulation for oneself, and to be able to see it in the job. So with jobs come stresses, working together with coworkers, with outside parties, with bosses, and people, in general. So just understanding, first of all, emotions that run high. So when you're in a period of stress, what can you do? How can you take a pause? How can you identify what you're going through? Rather than being enmeshed in that emotion and being carried away and feeling overwhelmed. Often the example I give is if you take a glass of water and pour a few drops of ink, emotions are like that, but often we tend to avoid them or neglect them, what's happening, because the sensations are very strong, and we quickly become the ink, and we forget that we are the water experiencing that ink that's coming in. So the ability to tolerate some discomfort with as the emotion comes and ride the wave is a huge skill, very helpful for not only in the employment landscape, but even personally and in an interaction with others. The final piece is the cognitive and the executive function, which is the prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain that helps us to plan intentions, setting and pursuing goals, versus the amygdala, or versus the primitive part of the brain, which is in fight or flight. So when you're under stress, you can easily get reactive or beat down yourself or think or give up too easily. So to access these, skills, the executive function, a coach can play a big part in that too, teaching them some of those skills. Also the ability to pay attention, on one task at a time. You can encourage them, for example, they could do a Pomodoro technique, which is work for 25 minutes, then on this one task, and then after that you take a 5-minute break. Then work on the task number 2 for 25 minutes, and then you work for take a 5-minute break. So that gives them, or maybe, some trackers, visuals, learning how to prioritize calendars, to-do lists, whatever it is that you feel like they could benefit from. A coach could tell them, share some of their resources that they have. And finally, metacognition, which is how we think about thinking. So not getting overwhelmed by the thoughts, but being able to understand that. Yeah, those are some points.
All righty. Yeah, she's something special. She's been working in the industry for a long time, and finally she stepped out on her own. And so she's been doing some work with us, but she's very knowledgeable of this process, and will be of great help to us as we move forward along with this. But one thing she said that was really interesting to me, and I would love to hear something from your end, what you heard, is when she did the scenario of the ink in the water. Do you remember that just a few moments ago? How she said the emotions are like the ink going into the water. And if we're not careful, we will think that we're the ink and not the water. I thought that was pretty profound because you start thinking about it. And that profound and that great analogy that we forget that we're water. And so when you hear that, what does that mean to you? I'm just curious, because that caught my attention big time. What does that say to you, maybe as it relates to your work or just in general? It could be anyone.
I think we tend to forget that And I think the analogy of the ink in the water is a good one. I think the visual would even be better. Like if you picture a big glass of water, you put one drop of ink in it, and we could be sitting at work having a great day, and you have that one participant comes in angry or whatever, and it makes us feel some sort of way. And instead of remembering that all this other good stuff is happening, we focus on that one negative. So yeah.
You absolutely unequivocally nailed it. I couldn't have said it any better. And that's what happens. You know what I mean? And I love the new emojis that they have on Zoom. Zoom has the best new emojis. I should play with them down there. There's nothing to react. You can do some pretty neat stuff with it. It's like brand new. They just started doing this. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I understand, Janae. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, she was on yesterday, so she got most of this already anyway. But you're right. And so what that says is, and she leaned into emotional piece, metacognition and all of that, is these are, I'm going to say it again, I've already said it, these are things that have to be worked on. Like they just don't happen on their own, because to be honest with you, as human beings, we're all emotional creatures. It's not a negative, it's just the way it is. And so the tendency is going to be to lean into my natural ink, whatever my thing is, I'm going to lean into it, versus having a sense of emotional intelligence and saying, no, this is the task at hand. This is the water. The water is our vision. The water is our mission. The water is how we say we're going to serve clients. You know what I mean? So that ink is not going to come in and change that. When the client's upset or something goes wrong, or, so that's why all of this is so important to take back and work on and try to enhance, because that's how we end up moving the needle. So I appreciate Herky doing that yesterday. And I wanted you to hear it too. So there's a philosophy that I live by in work and beyond. And it's simple. And that is, whatever I do not work on, I accept. And what that means is that if I have situations I'm trying to improve in something, or a scenario with a person or whatever, and if I just kind of ignore it and just do business as usual, that means I accept it. And the goal has to be, no, I want to get better. I want to improve. I want to enhance. So I need to work on it. So again, giving kudos to your two organizations for allowing our firm to be a part of your lives. This is just working on it. That's all it is. It's not that you're not competent to do it. You're hired to do the work. But what this is we're going to, just like that athlete, we're going to keep working on it. We're going to try to get better, a little bit better every day, 1%. I was thinking about with that statement by, Bo, 10 years to run 9.7 seconds. 7 seconds. I think about, Tiger Woods, when he changed his golf swing, and for a whole year he didn't win anything. He said, but I'd gotten to the peak of my abilities and I couldn't go any further with what I had. So I had to make a change. Changed his golf swing, flopped for a year, and then came back and won four majors then the year after. Why? Because I was willing to work on it, And so whatever your position may be, if you're a leader, if you're, in case management, careers, whatever it may be, the hope is that you're going to do what we said from day one. That's a slow drip. We're going to do a little bit at a time, not a lot, just to try to improve these little areas. Or I'm going to work on open-ended questions. I'm going to work on affirmations. I'm going to work on reflective listening. I'm going to work on summarizing. CAPE. I'm going to work on compassion. I'm going to work on accountability. All those things. I'm going to work on them a little at a time. Because lastly, you are slowly working on positional improvement. So Coach D is going to create a bunch of all-American Olympians over here, some workforce development Olympians with our team over there, because we're going to work on it just like those athletes do. All right. And I hope you're okay with that, because it's all in love. Yep. And yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you, Randy. I know you were here earlier, so I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Yep. And so question, what have you done differently since the training? Other words, like you had that sheet that I gave you, what maybe one category you said what you're going to work on, what's working, what's not working? It may not even be on that sheet. Something else may have come up, but what have you worked on? And I just like a few of you to, we don't need everyone, I guess, but a few of you to just kind of share with me what you've been working on. Was it oars? What is the spirit of Cape? Was it the team thing? Fire away. It could be any one of you. And Melissa, I know you weren't here, so I don't expect you to fire away. All right. But, Alexis, Angie, Charlene, or Karen, anyone you want to jump in? What have you been like since we were together last time? What did you work on? Okay. If you come on, I gotta make sure you unmute yourself. All right.
I think one of the things that I thought was really awesome is that I think it's really awesome that we're all working as a team.
Yes.
That really, yeah.
Yep. There it is.
Not as if we weren't working as a team, but I think it's more cohesive.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. That right there is, of all the things we're doing, has the most potential to impact everyone, literally. Because a team that works together, hear me out when I'm saying this, cannot be defeated. You just can't defeat a team. So just like we do it in sports, we do it within our organization. If I'm a job developer, I'm a case manager, if I'm a social worker, if I'm a manager, if I'm a director, whatever it may be, we all are doing our part right. We're going to see some tremendous success. And so, but it says here, my high schools were the Olympians, only Olympians in the country. Wow. Melissa, what does that mean? Talk to me about that, because I don't know.
My
if you
high
did.
school team was the Jim Thorpe Olympians,
Oh, okay.
and they were the only like Olympians in the country.
What does that mean? I'm still
Like their mascot, like
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
the town was named after Jim Thorpe, the
Got it.
Olympian.
I got it.
So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
did
Got it.
that. They
Oh,
honored
okay.
him.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So
Sorry.
you're from Jim Thorpe?
I went to high school there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
originally from New
I'm
Jersey.
familiar with that. I see it every time I go to the Turnpike. I see Jim Thorpe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else? Angie, Charlene, do you want to just share maybe something that resonated with you from the training that has merit to think about? I can tell Angie's thinking. It's right there in the top of her tongue. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes this mute thing is kind of difficult, but
So I didn't
Yeah.
focus on just one particular thing.
Mhm. Yep.
I am working on like establishing rapport and just building that relationship with
Yep.
the
Yep.
clients when they're in, because
Mhm.
that is super important. And I found that the ones that I really am able to connect with, their
Mhm.
participation is good.
Yep.
They're keeping in frequent contact with me.
Love it.
Unlike the ones where, if I'm rushed, sometimes I have multiple participants here that I'm enrolling, and I
Mhm.
feel like I can't spend the time that I need to, like, to really develop that rapport.
Mhm. Yep.
And I can see a difference in
Yep.
their performance because of it.
Very
So,
good. Mhm.
yeah, that's what I'm
Very good.
working on.
All right. Well, there you got the heart emojis too. And I'll say this. I'm just gonna piggyback what you're saying. I used to be in corporate sales many years ago. I used to work for a Fortune
Hold on.
500 company by the name of Abbott Laboratories. And this is interesting, and I think it's important to hear this. I didn't have all of the credentials for this job. They wanted somebody with a master's in life sciences because it was heavily on the biology side, which, that just was not my thing. But I wanted to work in medical sales because I was told you can build a great career in medical sales, which I did. I actually had a great medical sales career because they do take care of their people. But what I lacked in understanding of all the biology stuff, which I eventually learned, I offset that with my ability to build rapport. And so I'm going in there selling instrumentation that I couldn't fully even explain. I knew it was good and I knew it was better than my competition. But if you had to get me to going on the biology side of this, I would be in trouble. So, but one of my competitors knew all the biology stuff and I still beat them. And all the doctors would tell me it's because of you, man. We believe you. You have something about you that we can trust. The other person sounds too much like a salesperson. You see? And so that's what rapport is all about when you're building trust with people. And I was blowing my competition. They hated me. I would see them all on the field and they would give me the meanest look, like, where'd you come from? You know, I said, hey, I'm just here to steal your business. But it was that rapport. So kudos to you for sharing that, because it's the truth, you know? And so I'm glad to see you all are working on this, because, and we have more things we'll share with you, but keep in mind, just like I'm doing right now, is going to be just what are you working on? And always be working on something, because the reality is that's like that athlete. You're becoming that Olympian in workforce development, but saying, you know what, I'm going to work on improving my rapport. I'm going to work on open-ended questions. I'm going to do that for like 2 weeks, and I'm going to journal it and see how I'm doing. I'm going to work on reflective listening. I'm not just going to work on it. I'm going to actually document it. How am I doing with this? How can I do better? Because that's what athletes do. They do it, and then they monitor. They look at what they did to see how they're doing, if that makes sense. And they're saying, hey, I did well on this part, but I could do better on that part. And so, you know, when I started training in workforce development, we wanted to bring a different spin to it than just let's go through a professional development and let's see what sticks. You know, because that's how a lot of trainings are. You get a bunch of stuff and let's see how it sticks. No, we want to be intentional about what we're learning so that we can get better at it. Why? Because if I'm going to work and do something, why not be better at it? You know what I mean? I've been speaking and training and coaching forever, but I still read books. I still take courses. I still get coached. Why? Because I don't know it all. You know, I just don't know it all. Now, almost 30 years of marriage to my wife, I, would tell her I think I do. No, actually, she's the one that knows it all. I just know a little bit. Y'all didn't hear that. She's not too far from me. I'm gonna get in trouble, y'all. Y'all didn't hear that. I'm looking at the looks on your faces. I mean, you know, I don't know nothing. I mean, that's what husbands don't know much. But anywho, let me go back in and give you a little bit more, and we're gonna wrap it up because I promised you we'll be done in 45 minutes. All right. So continue to work on the little things. Okay. All right. I'm gonna tell you something about something as a consultant, as an expert, as a person who read about 1,000 books in his life, who's been to countless courses and sat down with experts from all over the world. It's the little things that you do well that produce the big outcomes. That's all. You know, whatever it may be, finances. You know, I heard a story about this guy who worked at a school, and he retired. He worked there for 40 years. He was in the school maintenance department, and he retired, and he came back after retirement a year later, and he said, I want to do a $4 million endowment. And people were like, you want to do what? He said, yeah, I want to start a scholarship program for the kids. He said, did you hit the jackpot? He said, no. He said, I lived on less than 50% of my income all my 40 years here, and I invested it. He said, so I got plenty of money to live off. This is just the excess. What did he do? A little bit at a time over 40 years. You see how that works? I'm just using that as an example. We can all relate to that because, like, man, I didn't save that much. I'm not saving that much. But anyhow, so yeah. So keep in mind with motivational interviewing, just as a reminder, this just tells you what it is. We know about that. It's about client-centered an approach that really talk about eliciting behavior change. The more we can get people to change their behaviors, the better their outcomes are going to be. My mother, when she was impacted by workforce development, you remember me telling the story, when her behavior changed, she changed. And I'm going to tell you what she did. Some people she was hanging out with, she stopped hanging out with them. You know, folks who wanted to do XYZ, she wasn't doing it anymore. Because workforce development helped her land a good job and she wanted a better life. So guess what? She stayed the course. Why? Her behavior changed. And as a result, as a kid watching that, my behavior changed. All right. So it's really important to understand it's not just one person. And remember this, our goal was talking about getting to the right side of this. We're talking about relationship, person-driven, dialogue about them, on their future. That's motivational interviewing. On the other side is case management. And don't get me wrong, case management is what we are. We're case managers, we're career coaches. That's cool, but we want this part. The relationship, person-driven dialogue about them. and self-sufficiency, own their own future. And then we talked about the spirit of Kate, and then we talked about compassion, autonomy, partnership, and evocation. And that evocation is powerful. We don't hear that term too much, but it's drawing up the client's thoughts and ideas, helping them to take ownership. That's huge. Partnership is one way that we do it. Compassion is another. The goal ultimately is empowerment, to get them to understand, I'm going to work as hard as I can, but you live with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can't do it for you. You got to do this, but I'm going to help you. All right. So don't forget about the spirit of Kate. You overhear that again. And so then ORs, of course, that's why I like these little guys' ears. It's open-ended questions, affirmations, reflective listening, and summarizing. Those are the 4 components, all right, of ORs, which was created by Dr. William Miller and Stephen Rollnick. Stephen Miller and William Rollnick. All right. So let me give you a couple quick things. I got 4 minutes. I'm gonna knock these out real fast. You're gonna get this video. So, if you're taking notes, don't worry about it. You're going to get all this. You'll be able to see it. Okay, you want to look at it again? Some principles here. Got some my guys there with me again. They were on a little earlier. Jeff and these on. Yeah. And that's why, if you see me taking pictures, who knows? You may show up in a PowerPoint too. You may be next. All right. Is expressing empathy, developing discrepancy, rolling with resistance, and supporting confidence. Let me go through these all quickly. All right. 4 principles of motivational interviewing. 1, expressing empathy. There's Judy right there. By expressing empathy, case managers and coaches can create a safe and supportive environment where clients feel heard and understood. That's what that's all about. Because now that client becomes someone that wants to talk to you. They want to engage with you. Why? You got to hear this, because they feel safe. One thing I would tell my staff all the time, I said, if we can get them to safe, we're good. Because once they get to safe, then all of a sudden you got a person you can talk to. But if they don't feel safe or they trust, then they can put up brick walls and not, interact with you often. And then developing discrepancy. The second principle is developing discrepancy. This involves helping the client identify discrepancies between their current behavior. It's kind of like ambivalence we talked a little bit earlier, and their goals. Because the thing that's stopping folks is really, it doesn't matter who it is, a client or not a client, is behavior. It's the habits, it's the routines, it's the patterns that we've all had, and things of that nature. See yourself, Angie, we got you in there, Angie. We see yourself, you're a celebrity. All right. And so 11, there we go. And then rolling resistance. This one is the hardest, because what this saying is I'm not going to get in the arguments or debates, which really with clients you don't need to. You know what I mean? If it gets to the point where it's that bad, then just get some help and maybe deal with it. But you're there to help find employment. You help for self-sufficiency. You're not there to debate, folks, and going to that ain't the job. My job is to help you, not to get in arguments with you. So if a client wants to become argumentative, that's where that conversation kind of needs to come to an end, and we come back later and talk, or somebody else comes in and can assist. So, and that's the same way with each other too. We should be able to communicate in such a manner that we're lifting each other up, not tearing each other down. And that's what makes a strong team. And I always say this, if you have conflict with someone, just address this. Hey, there's something that's going on, we talk about it. And I think that's the mature thing to do. When we adults sometimes struggle with that, but it's the best. I'd rather people come up and tell me they got a problem with me than walk around not liking me and I don't know what the problem is. Why do you not like me? What did I do? No, tell me so we can at least deal with it. Okay. All right. And then lastly, support confidence. Fourth principle is supporting confidence. And then also this is just all about just compliments. This is kind of like reflective listening. Hey, heard you did this, good job. Heard you had a great interview, good job. It's just building their confidence, okay, which is huge. So we got that. And then, so these are just a few things we'll do before the next time we get together, which will be in a few weeks. You will be getting other information like this video. You will get this before that time. So there will be information dripping in, but as far as us getting together, you may get a video from me just kind of touching base. I do like these little 1-2 minute videos, popping in information. You may get stuff like that. Do me a favor, if you get it, don't put me in that box that you'll never look at, that I'll get to later that you never get to box. Take a look at it, because it's going to be relevant information. So analyze ORs again, because that's one of the big reasons why we're doing this. Open-ended questions, affirmations, reflective, and practice those. Discuss with your team. Other words, during staff meetings, hey, how are we doing with oars? How are we doing with the spirit of Kate? Anybody have any success stories? Make it a part of the team. Like when a team comes together to win, we're talking about strategies, right? Discuss the 4 MI principles, expressing empathy, rolling with, this, you'll get that information soon. You don't have it now, but it'll come in this video. Take a look at that. And don't accept normalcy. One thing I always tell folks, and this is the truth, whenever you're trying to change, don't go back the way it was. Whenever you put all this time into something to change and you continue to do the same thing, that's not good. If I'm going to work on something, work on it, get better at it, improve at it, and then take pride in the fact that I've done well with it. You know what I mean? And celebrate when possible. So these 4 things, for the next steps, and then this video will be sent out to you. And I made it right at I missed it by 30 seconds. Some 140.45.30. So anyway, thank you all so much. Any questions? We all good? Everybody good? I'm gonna give you all one of these before you go, because I know you were waiting for this. A big old heart. Look at that. That's just because I'm thinking about y'all like that. I just like messing with these emojis, to be honest with you. They're pretty cool when you think about it. So anyway, what is this one here? I'm just curious. Oh, balloons. Okay, there we go. I don't know what that one represents, but it looks cool. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you later. All right, and look forward to the video coming in. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Take
you.
care
Have a
now.
good day.
You have a good
Thank
day.
you. Have a
got it,
good
Ella.
one.
You are. Well, take care now.
It was
Bye-bye.
fun watching you play with the toys. It's like watching somebody play with toys.
Yeah, because like they all knew, you know what I mean? I'm like, God, this is so cool. All right, y'all.
That's funny. Have a
All
good
right.
one. See you in a couple weeks.
You got it. Bye-bye.